I must inform members that the clerk of the committee can only receive motions for the election of the chair. The clerk cannot receive other types of motions, cannot entertain points of order, nor participate in debate.
Proceed to the election of the chair. Pursuant to Standing Order 106 Sub 2, the chair must be a member of the government party. I am ready to receive motions for the chair. Yes, Mr. Batiste.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. I would like to nominate Marc Garneau as our chair.
It has been moved by Mr. Batiste that Mr. Garneau be elected chair as chair of the committee. Are there any further motions? Not seeing any. It has been moved by Mr. Batiste that Mr. Garneau be elected chair of the committee. Pursuant to the House Order of Thursday, November 25th, 2021, I will now proceed to, I declare the motion carried. Sorry. Is it the pleasure to adopt the motion, Chair?
Thank you very much, Madam Clerk, and thank you all for the vote of confidence. I will do my best to acquit myself of my responsibilities. Merci à tous. Je ferai de mon mieux pour m'acquitter.
I will do my best to acquit myself of my responsibilities as chair of this committee.
In agreement, I invite the clerk to proceed with the election of the vice chairs.
Order 106.2, the first vice chair must be a member of the official opposition. I am now prepared to receive motions for the first vice chair. Mr. Batiste.
I would like to nominate Jamie Schmel for vice chair.
Thank you. It has been moved by Mr. Batiste that Mr. Schmale be elected as first vice chair of the committee. Is it the pleasure of the committee to adopt the motion?
Yes.
I declare the motion carried, and Mr. Schmale is duly elected as first vice chair of the committee. Pursuant to Standing Order 106.2, the second vice chair must be a member of an opposition party other than the official opposition. I am now prepared to receive motions for the second vice chair. Mr. Schmale?
Monsieur le Président.
I nominate Ms. Gill.
I'm sorry. Is there, Mr. Chair, Ms. Atwin and Mr. Schmale both request the floor.
Yes, and from where I'm standing, or where I'm sitting virtually, I saw Ms. Atwin's hand go up first. So I suggest that we hear from her.
Ms. Atwin?
Monsieur le Président, je propose la candidature de
I nominate Marilyn Gill as second vice chair of the committee.
Okay. It has been moved by Ms. Atwin that Ms. Gill be elected as second vice chair of the committee. Is it the pleasure of the committee to adopt the motion?
Yes.
I declare the motion carried, and Ms. Gill is the duly elected second vice chair of the committee.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. And colleagues, just a few words before we move to our business of the day today, which will be routine motions. I would like to first of all welcome everyone to our first meeting of the House of Commons Standing Committee on Indigenous and Northern Affairs. And a few administrative remarks, if I may. Today's meeting is taking place in a hybrid format pursuant to the House Order of November 25th, 2021. Members are attending in person, in the room, and remotely using the Zoom application. Regarding the speaking list, the committee clerk and I will do our very best to maintain a consolidated order of speaking for all members, whether participating virtually or in person. I would like to take this opportunity to remind all participants to this meeting that screenshots or taking photos of your screen is not permitted. The proceedings will be made available via the House of Commons website. Compte tenu de la pandémie,
Given of the pandemic situation and because of the recommendation of public health authorities, and also because of the buoy recommendations, it is recommended that everybody attending the meeting in person adopt the following measures to ensure everyone's safety. Any person showing symptoms must attend virtually. Everybody must respect social distancing, 2 meters between each people. Everybody needs to wear a mask, and it is recommended that everybody wears them at all times. There are non-medical masks available in the room. Please maintain good hand hygiene by using the sanitizer available in the room. Everyone is invited to clean the surfaces that they have used with available wipes. As a chair, I will ensure that these measures are enforced, and I thank members for their cooperation.
now suggest that as the next order of business, that the committee now proceed to considering our routine motions. In preparation for this, the committee clerk has circulated a list of routine motions that the committee adopted in the last parliamentary session. The committee clerk is also able to answer any questions about the routine motions that you may have. So I see that Mr. Weiler has his hand raised.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just want to propose a motion to adopt the routine motions that have been circulated through the clerk.
Thank you, Mr. Weiler. Are there any other comments that any member wants to make? If you're there virtually, please raise your hand. I cannot see if somebody in the room is raising their hand, so I'll depend on the clerk for that.
Mr. Schmale has a comment, would like to intervene.
Mr. Schmale, I yield the floor to you.
Thank you, Chair. My question just regards to subcommittee. I think when we come back, probably in February, I was wondering if it's possible to arrange for a subcommittee meeting as soon as possible so that when we come back in February, the agenda, or at least our future studies, is already somewhat planned out, subject to approval of the committee. But that way the clerks have ample time to arrange witnesses. We're able to kind of have a direction taking us potentially right through the spring into June.
Thank you, Mr. Schmale. Any comment from any other member on what Mr. Schmale has said? Mr. Baptiste.
Yes, I do agree that we should get a subcommittee, but I do believe that we have to go through the routine motions first before we get into the discussion around the subcommittee. And while I am in agreement with our learned vice chair, I think that it's under my understanding is that we have to go through the routine motions first. And I'd ask the clerks to give me a sense if that's correct or not.
So I can confirm that for you, Mr. Baptiste. Yes, we first have to adopt the routine motions, one of which includes the subcommittee on agenda and procedure. Are there any comments or anything to say concerning Mr. Weiler's proposed motion that we adopt the routine motions, the ones that were provided to you by the clerk. I don't see any hands raised virtually. Are there any, is anybody in the room having to want to make a comment?
Mr. Chair, if I may, are you seeking unanimous consent for the adoption of the routine motions?
I wanted to see if anybody in the room wanted to say anything. Otherwise, I will be looking for unanimous consent. Yes. I see no hands raised. Therefore, I would ask the committee for unanimous consent to adopt the routine motions that were presented by the clerk to each member before the meeting.
Yes.
Mr. Chair, there's a hand up down.
Based on
Mr. Shields has his hand up.
No, he's ready to support.
Oh, he's supporting. Sorry.
So it sounds, colleagues, as though we have unanimous consent. So thank you very much. So the routine motions which were presented to you today are all adopted. Thank you. That covers the business. Are there other items? I see Mr. Baptiste has his hand up.
Yes, I wish to continue on the discussion that Mr. Schmel raised on establishing a subcommittee. One of the things that I had spoken to some of the parties, and I think that we have support to move forward with one of the first things about being on Indigenous and Northern Affairs Committee is to understanding the terminology, the correct and most respectful processes whereby we can move forward as a committee. One of the things that I have floated as an idea to the other parties is that we start off with a historic first, as our first meeting back in January, is to have a training session or an educational session. One of the greatest examples has been used that I've seen used is the Kairos blanket exercise, that it's an interactive tool where we can learn and go through a cultural sensitivity as well as a training and education on Indigenous history and Indigenous terminology. I think it's been well received across Canada. I look to the parties to see if we can start off our meetings in January with that kind of training session, and we look to the establishment of a subcommittee to iron out the details of how we move forward on that. And I think that based on what we've heard lately with some of the things around Omicron, it's good to have a subcommittee that can meet and discuss this, but also I understand that there is the option of the virtual training sessions that they were looking to for this. And so I think that both of those things would be very beneficial for this committee. And I look to the other parties for their support in moving forward in this historic first to open our minds and our hearts before we start into motions of areas of studies to first learn and to hear.
Thank you, Mr. Baptiste. Any other member wish to comment on what Mr. Baptiste has said?
Veut intervenir?
Someone would like to speak? Madame Gill? Thank you very much, Chair. I have several questions in terms of what Mr. Baptiste just said. What I've understood, and you can tell me if I understood correctly, I don't understand what Mr. Baptiste was calling training. I understand the whole idea of awareness and education and history for every elected official. And I'm wondering if this will happen outside of this committee, because I think the work that Mr. Schmel was talking about should start quickly. Are we adding these hours to the committee? Even though I've been here for 6 years, I'm new to this committee. We were elected very quickly, but I'm wondering if this is in the normal usage of things. Is this a precedent? I'm not saying it's a bad thing necessarily to create a precedent, but I'm still asking questions. I'd like to hear what my colleagues have to say about that topic. Could you give us a bit more information? Because it's nice to approve something, but I want to be responsible for what I'm approving and what I'm supporting. Thank you, Chair. Thank you very much, Ms. Gill.
would it be possible to elaborate a little bit more on the proposed first meeting, the opportunity to sensitize and educate so that Madame Gill will have a better sense of what we're talking about. And as I understand it, this is something that you're proposing that would be a starting at the first meeting so that it will help to guide us in subsequent meetings. So perhaps you could elaborate a little bit more for Madame Gill.
Yes. So to be clear, this is something that we discussed in the previous 43rd INAN committee at the start. It didn't end up happening, but I thought that we had a good discussion around it. This would be the first meeting that we have back in January when we are back. It'll be during the 2-hour normal business, but instead of actually looking at motions and studies, we would start off by having an education session. I would suggest Kairos witness blanket, but I would also look to the subcommittee that I'd assume that would have one member of each of the parties on that to do out all of the details within that subcommittee, so that when we come back as a committee of a whole, that we would have all of the details ironed out. And that's where I believe the subcommittee could be utilized. But to be clear, this would be the first time that INAN committee's doing this, and I think it's an important first step of moving forward.
Thank you, Mr. Baptiste.
Clout was next to speak. I don't know if you got my text.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I'm multitasking here. Just 1 second, please. I did not get your this is Madam Clerk, you sent me a text message?
Yes, I did, that Ms. Idlet would like to speak next.
Oh, I beg your pardon. The floor is yours, Madam Idlet.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I would like to show my support to have some sort of orientation session. I like the idea of having it during our 2-hour normal meeting so that it could be recorded and so that we can go back to it if we needed to. I would also like to suggest that in that training or orientation session that we make sure that part of the content differentiates between the realities that were experienced by First Nations, Métis, and Inuit, because we all have very different experiences. Although a lot of the treatments may have been the same, I think that we've come to realize that we have important, unique differences between our cultures, and I think it would be great to make sure that this subcommittee does a few things. Number one, that it identifies who the facilitators can be that are experts in First Nations, Métis, or Inuit areas, but to also make sure that we discuss good questions like Marilyn had just suggested, because we do have really good questions that I think the subcommittee could really help hash out in preparation for our first session in January. And if I may, I just wanted to ask if when I want to ask a question later on a different topic, will I just need to raise my hand? Because as an Inuk, as a bilingual Inuk, and as an Inuk with constituents who still speak unilingual Inuktitut only, it would be amazing if I could have interpretation services in Inuktitut as have been provided in the House of Commons when I'm able to. I would like to ask if this would be a possibility in this committee as well. For allowing me to speak.
Thank you very much, Madam Idlut. With respect to translation services, I will have to defer to the clerk on that issue. Are there other members that wish to speak on Mr. Baptiste's proposal?
Mr. Chair?
Yes, please.
Thank you, Madam Clerk, and thank you, Mr. Chairman. May I suggest that, well, actually, I'll put a motion forward that we actually establish a subcommittee and that each party submit names who they would like to have on that subcommittee, and that subcommittee be the first meeting, and that therefore would actually look at the issues that we're discussing right now. I'm sure everyone has an interest in how they want to see us move forward as a committee, and with that discussion can happen at the subcommittee. I would even go as far as having the subcommittee speak about prioritizing what all parties would like to see us move forward on. Obviously, Mr. Baptiste would be his intervention would be the first one, and as the member had mentioned earlier, the blueprint of that process can be discussed at that meeting. So, Madam Clerk or Mr. Chairman, I'll put that forward.
Thank you, Mr. Badaway. Just one point of clarification: is your proposal that in the formation of the subcommittee, which we definitely have to undertake, that they meet prior to our first intended meeting, which would be when we come back at the end of January, so that they will already have looked at Mr. Baptiste's proposal or any other substantial motions, or that they do this as when we return
before
at the end of January
before the next meeting. Yeah, and the reason why I say that, Mr. Chairman, and to the members, we only have so much time. We only have so much meeting time between now and June, or the end of June. We have our allocated times twice a week, and I'm sure everyone wants to dive right into the issues, the studies, the hearings, as well as the session that Mr. Baptiste talks about. So with all that said, I think the subcommittee can meet prior to. They can somewhat set the agenda, as well as the blueprint for that first meeting, and then we can go from there. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Badaway. Is there agreement amongst the members to what Mr. Badaway has proposed? Thank you.
Yes.
I see an agreement. It's a little bit difficult to see all the unanimity that is oozing through this committee right now, but it sounds like we must choose our subcommittee, and there are established procedures for choosing that subcommittee, as you all know. So I would encourage us to do this from the different parties so that we form the subcommittee as quickly as possible. I will also say that in one of the tasks of the subcommittee, as proposed by Mr. Baptiste, and I didn't see any objections, but the subcommittee would elaborate on how that first sensitivity cultural session would flesh out in terms of the details. So that would be one of the tasks as well. And I would also say to the different parties that if you have substantial motions that you wish to bring forward for study by this committee, this would also be an opportunity for you to provide those to the clerk, and they may be able to be studied by the subcommittee once it is formed.
Mr. Badaway had his hand up again to intervene.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Mr. Badaway.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Madam Clerk. I don't see any other hands up, so I would be prepared to put a motion forward to adjourn.
I don't see any other hands up at this point, so I'm going to assume that that is unanimous. And thank you very much, everyone, for this first meeting. I think we accomplished what we needed to accomplish, and I think we've already set the tone for future meetings. And again, I urge you to all work together to get the subcommittee appointed as quickly as possible so that we can begin to flesh out the very, very important motions and items that we will be busy with in the coming months. So thank you very much. And I haven't got a gavel here, but I declare the first meeting adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Happy holidays.